As the New York Rangers try and make their squad better than what it was last season, one player they should definitely be looking at to potentially sign in free agency is winger Tyler Bertuzzi. He's a very solid player here and definitely brings something that this New York Rangers team needs, and that is physicality. He's a very tough player, and he also plays with a bit of an edge as well. This is a player who can get under the other team's skin there. He's a really solid player in that sense there. Very physical, very tough guy as well. Definitely not afraid of much on the ice, and that is definitely a thing that is lacking from this New York Rangers team, is some good overall toughness, some grit, some physicality, player with a bit of an edge there as well. This is definitely a guy who could provide a solid addition to this squad, who definitely need a player like himself. He can also play left wing and right wing as well. He has experience at both. Although he has most recently been with the Leafs there, he was playing more left wing than right wing, which is not as much of a need for the Rangers, but he definitely can play right wing, as he did so back with the Detroit Red Wings back in 2021, 2022, where he played pretty much the entire season at right wing as well. So a very solid overall player, and definitely would be a great addition to this New York Rangers top six. And depending on what this New York Rangers team does in free agency, whether or not they add another center or something like that, they definitely could have a guy like Tyler Bertuzzi on that third line there, playing a very physical role. Have a guy like Chytil possibly on that right wing spot alongside Zibanejad and Kreider, depending on obviously if they do end up signing or are trading for some kind of a third line center. That's kind of what it depends on. But either way, having another versatile player like this who can play on the left and right side is definitely a good addition for this team. And like I said, he brings exactly what this team is lacking right now. Some overall offensive skill as well. I mean, that's definitely a positive for him. He's a good offensive player, but the physicality, the grit, the toughness, playing on with an edge there as well, that is definitely a big need for this team. He definitely brings that. And Tyler is also a player who is right now only 29 years old, turning 30 later in February. So not too bad there. He's not like some old player who's like 33, 34, but he's also not a younger free agent where he's more like, 26, 27 kind of thing. He's kind of right in the middle of that there. So not too bad, not too old, but definitely not too young either. He's probably going to be looking for a bit of a longer term contract. I'd imagine like a 4 or 5 year deal, because he is obviously a guy who's coming off of a 1 year deal that he signed with the Leafs there. It was a 1 year, $5.5 million contract with the Leafs. I'd imagine he's probably going to want about around a 5 year deal. I don't think any team's going to give him like a 7 year deal, for example. I would imagine definitely a 4 or 5 year deal is probably what we're going to see for a guy like Tyler Bertuzzi. And I definitely think he warrants that for sure. And it's probably going to be something around that same cap. We'll take a look at my prediction later on in this video. Starting off, though, I think he is one of the better forwards available in free agency. This is overall a pretty good free agent class, so there are quite a few really good, overall kind of wingers, especially the center. I've been lacking a bit there, but overall in the wings, there's definitely a very strong class here, and Tyler Bertuzzi is among the top forwards in this entire class. He's a very solid player, and I think would be a great addition to this New York Rangers team. And the one kind of negative thing about Tyler Bertuzzi, and he's by no means a perfect player, but the one kind of big thing here with him is he has dealt with some injuries over the last while in the NHL, so that definitely could come back, but he did play a full 80 games last season plus 7 games in the playoffs, so it seems like he might be all right going forward, but there definitely has been some injuries in the past with him, so hopefully, obviously, if the Rangers do sign him, that won't be much of an issue, but it definitely could possibly be, so that is kind of one of the few kind of really negative things about him, but overall, he's a very solid player and would be a nice addition. Taking a look, though, like I said, I think he could be a nice fit alongside Kreider and Zibanejad. He is more of a playmaker than a goal scorer, so that could kind of help obviously create some more goals on that line there for Zibanejad and Kreider. At 5-on-5, at even strength, that's kind of where he gets most of his production. He could be a nice fit alongside them, adding in some gritty toughness, to that line, some physicality that we know a guy like Kreider and Zibanejad definitely don't bring a whole lot of. Adding in a guy like that alongside them could be the right fit for this team. Taking a look, though, at what else he brings to this team, he also is a 6'1" guy, 186 pounds, so has some pretty good size there, not too bad there at all, but definitely is a very physical player. He plays a very strong game, a very tough guy on the ice there, and definitely, like I said, plays with an edge. He can get under the other team's skin there. He's not afraid to be a bit of a rat out there at moments, kind of like, Brad Marchand does. Obviously not as good offensively, but he definitely can bring some of that kind of Brad Marchand-esque to where he's, pissing off the other team, getting under their skin, trying to make them mad, draw some penalties. Because I do think that's just something that this team definitely is lacking right now, is a player with an edge there, a player who plays a very physical, tough game, a gritty game. That's exactly what Tyler Bertuzzi is. While also being a pretty fast player, he's got some solid speed, which is another kind of need for this team. Adding in a fairly fast player could be a nice addition, who also plays with an edge there. Speed, the physicality is definitely a nice thing. And he also is a very solid playmaker as well. I would say his playmaking skills are definitely better than his goal-scoring ability, but having him alongside guys like Kreider and Zibanejad possibly could be kind of the right fit there, because we know Zibanejad and Kreider are very talented goal scorers. Not two bad playmakers by any means, but their goal scoring are probably better than their playmaking. So adding in a guy like this who's more of a playmaker could possibly help, add in some more offensive production at 5-1-5 on the other top six line, because we know that other top six line there, the Lafreniere, Panarin, and Trocheck line, we know that produces at a very solid level at even strength offensively, but having another line like that who can produce at a very good level would be quite nice at even strength there. So hopefully a guy like Tyler Bertuzzi could really help out the offensive scoring there. Taking a look now, though, he also is a very solid offensive producer at even strength, though, as well. Over his entire NHL career so far, he has 406 games played in the regular season and has 203 points just at even strength. So overall, he has a 0.5 points per game at even strength over his entire NHL career. That is not too bad at all. Obviously, it's not elite, but it is not too bad at all. He's a very solid player. It would be a consistent, 40-plus point kind of guy, especially if you were playing alongside guys like Kreider and Zibanejad, possibly even a 50-60 kind of guy. That is definitely a realistic option for this team. If you were to play alongside guys like that, getting some good ice time, possibly getting some power play 2 time, could be a very nice fit for this team. And I think would also be a nice addition to this power play 2 for the New York Rangers there. We know that doesn't get a whole lot of look there with the power play 1 eating up like quite a bit of that power play time that the Rangers get. But having a guy like this on the power play 2 kind of work around the net there wouldn't be a bad addition by any means. And it is very possible he could look to re-sign with the Maple Leafs, as he did have a very solid season there, and he is a really great fit for them as well. They obviously need a guy like that as well who can play with a bit of an edge there, be a physical, tough player. So he could be a nice fit for them to kind of re-sign back there, but maybe he does look to go somewhere else and possibly join the Rangers, who are obviously a bit better about teaming the playoffs there. We've gone on a few more runs, obviously, than they have over the last long while. So maybe he wants to join this team, which is definitely a possible option. I think would be a great fit for us. Taking a look now, though, at his overall offensive production, starting off in the regular season, this past season ended up having 80 games played with the Leafs, 21 goals, 22 assists for 43 total points. But the big thing with him is he had 16 out of his 21 total goals at even strength and 21 out of his 22 total assists at even strength as well. He got well over half his production done at even strength, which is a big need for this team. He only had 6 power play points out of his 43, which is not too bad at all. No short-handed ones because he's not much of a penalty killer, but still a very solid player. Ended up having 98 hits as well, which is quite phenomenal. 44 blocks, not too bad there at all. The previous season, half of it was with the Detroit Red Wings, half of it was with the Boston Bruins. Once got traded there at the deadline. He ended up having a total of 50 games played last season, though. The previous one back in 2022, 2023, had 8 goals, 22 assists for 30 total points, not too bad. But back in 2021, 2022, had pretty much his best season offensively of his entire career, having 68 games played with the Red Wings, having 30 goals, 32 assists for 62 total points. And although he's not going to get a whole lot of power play time with the Rangers, get some power play 2 here and there, I'd imagine. But for the most part, though, he's definitely going to be a 40-plus point kind of guy consistently, as he has shown to be over his entire NHL career so far. And he does have the upside of being a 50, maybe a 60 point kind of guy here and there as well. He definitely does have that kind of skill. Taking a look, though, he is a very solid playoff performer as well, although he only has 2 playoff appearances, one with the Bruins back in 2022-2023, and one with the Leafs this past season. He ended up having 7 games played in both those playoff runs. The one with the Bruins ended up having 7 games played, 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 total points, had 18 hits there as well, 6 blocks, not too bad. And with the Leafs this past season, ended up having 7 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points, but had 22 hits and 4 block shots. He is a very physical player, especially when it comes to playoff time. He's just that kind of playoff guy that you want to have on your team, that gritty, tough player, plays a very just overall kind of physical game, but also has the edge to his game as well, where he's going to get under the team's skin there, try and piss them off, draw some penalties, really trying to make them mad, and that's just an overall thing that you definitely need come playoff time, and which the Rangers lacked this postseason run. And now taking a look here at what my contract prediction is for Tyler Bertuzzi. If he were to sign with the Rangers, I would guess it's going to be something around a 5-year deal with a $5 million cap hit per season. I think that's quite fair for what he brings. And you got to consider the cap's going up as well, so it's not going to be too bad of a contract at all. I think that's pretty good value if the Rangers can sign him to something like this. Now, maybe it is a 4-year deal, maybe it is a shorter-term deal. I'm guessing that he wants a bit of a longer-term, kind of mid-term deal, like a 5-year deal, 4 or 5-year deal, something around there, at around a $5 million cap hit. I don't think he's going to get much more than that, no matter what, whether it is even a short-term deal or a long-term deal. I'm guessing the AAV is probably going to be something around $5 million, and something around a 5-year deal makes a lot of sense. This is a guy coming off a 1-year deal with the Leafs. I'm sure he wants to get some more, contract certainty there. It's kind of locked in longer term with the team. So if he does, a 5-year deal at $5 million per season, I think would be a great deal. 5 years, $25 million total, I think is a very fair contract for what he brings. He can be a very solid addition to any team he goes to, a playoff performer. He's obviously shown that so far. He's got that kind of playoff pedigree where he have that physical toughness, the overall skill set. He can be a very solid kind of top 9 forward. If he's in your third line, that provides some great overall depth, but also can play in your top 6 alongside star level players and can be that pest out there, a bit of a rat at times, which is definitely a thing you want on your team and definitely hate to play against. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. It helps out the channel a ton. I would really appreciate it. If you are a New York Rangers fan, don't forget to subscribe for daily New York Rangers content, as I do post every single day, even throughout the entire offseason. And also, don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on Tyler Bertuzzi. Do you want to see the New York Rangers sign him, and what contract would you offer Tyler this offseason? Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next one. See ya.